Welcome back everyone. So today we are going to continuing our project. In my previous video, we have already created this beautiful login and sign up form. And as you can see, we also implement the validation. This is really cool. We're using Next.js and also setCN UI, right? So in this video, we are going to make this login and sign up work. So we need to use NextAuth to do that. This is really cool package. And also we are going to use Prisma and PostgreSQL to store our data. All right, so if you don't yet have this code here, you just can clone the code in my GitHub repository. I'm going to put link on the description. All right, so let's get started. All right, so the first thing what you need to do is let's just clone the code here or just download the zip here and just open that into the Visual Studio Code, and let's run the app by running npm run dev. It should be open localhost 3000, and this is what we have. All right, nice. And the first thing what we need to do is we are going to create a route, which is post request to register our data, and we are going to store the data into the PostgreSQL. You can just download that in here, or I think you can use something like Supabase. I think you can go to supabase.com and just sign up or register, and or you can use this PostgreSQL and install it in your local. It's the same, I think. So next, what we need to do is after you download this or after you register this, we are going to install the Prisma. So let's go to prisma.io. Let's click this quick start, and let's go to, I'm going to click this start from scratch. I'm going to click the relation database, but of course you can use MongoDB as well here. But again, we are going to use PostgreSQL. Great. So here I'm going to click this installation instructions, and we're going to use npm. So I'm going to copy this link here. I'm going to copy that, open another terminal, and I'm going to paste that right here. So it should be installed Prisma as a development dependency. So let's see to my package.json file. It should be installing right here. All right, as you can see, we have already installed it here inside the dev dependency object. So now let's go back here, and what we need to do, let's go back and we need to say npx prisma init. Let's copy that and paste that right here, npx prisma init. It should be create one folder called Prisma, and inside the Prisma here we have schema.prisma, and also we have this .env file, and inside the .env file we have this database URL. So basically this is what you need to paste from the Supabase or on your Postgres local here. As you can see, this is my server. It's going to be running on 5432, and when I start, as you can see, I have 4 database here. But again, you can use Supabase. Just go to Supabase, and after you sign up or register, you can go to dashboard here and just create a new project. Let's click this Chan organization, and for the name project, I'm going to say Next.js out, and database password, I'm going to generate password here. I'm going to copy that, and let's go back here. Basically, I just want to put right here for the password, and the region I'm gonna select let's see, I think Singapore, and also it's gonna be free. I'm going to create a new project. So now if you go back to the Chan organization here or click the logo here, as you can see, now we have 2 projects. So this is what we create, right? So let's click that, and I'm going to click the project settings, go to database, and I'm going to copy this URI. So let's copy that, go back here. I'm going to paste that right here. So this is basically what we need to paste right here inside the database URI. So let's cut that out and put that right here. And also for the password here, let's just copy this and paste that to this string here. Great. All right, so let's save. So let's click the database here, and as you can see, now it should be empty. There's no data in here, which is great. So let's go back to Prisma. Now let's connect your database, and as you can see, we have the schema Prisma, right? So right here we have this schema.prisma, and then we have this environment variable. And also what we need to do, let's click this, and we are going to create a model. So here, as you can see, we don't have any model. So for now, let's just copy this user model, copy that and paste that right here. So in here, I'm going to remove this post and profile, and also I'm going to add username, and this username, it should be string like so. And also the username, it should be unique. I'm going to say unique, and we don't need this name. I also want to add the password. Password, it should be string, and also I'm going to add created at, and the created at, it should be, I'm going to say date time. This date time have a default value. So let's do default. I'm going to say no, just like that. And also here, I'm going to say update at. This is going to be date time as well. And also I'm going to say update at. So as you can see, the format is clean because I'm using package called Prisma, I think. Yeah, this one here. You just can search that and install that in your VS Code. Great. Now we have this model. So what we need to do next is we need to run the npx prisma migrate, and we're going to copy this. So every time you change your model, you need to run this migrate here. So I'm going to copy. Let's go back, and I'm going to paste that to the terminal. Let's hit enter. All right, it's running generate. I think it's done, but it's stuck right here. I'm not sure what happened. So let's go back to the Supabase, and I'm going to refresh. Let's see what we have in here. As you can see, we have this user. Let's go to the table editor, and as you can see right here, we have the users. Great, we have the ID, email, username, password, create at, and update at. When we run npx prisma migrate, it should be create the migration here, as you can see. And inside in here, we have the SQL code. As you can see right here, it will be create a new SQL migration file for this migration. And this is the example. Okay, so this is what we have. Great. So we don't care about that really. And let's click this install Prisma client. To use Prisma client, we need to install the Prisma client package. So let's copy this command here. Let's go to terminal, paste that here, and we need to hit enter. And it's done. Great. So let's take a look here. So this is basically whenever you change your schema, you need to run Prisma migrate dev or Prisma db boost. You should run that to make your database synchronous with your schema. So now let's query the database. Great. So the first thing is we need to initialize the Prisma client. So first I'm going to create another folder inside the source, I think. So let's, oh yeah, we already have the lib folder, which is nice. So inside the lib folder here, I'm going to create a file called db. You can naming Prisma. I just want to say db.ts. So in here, we can just say like import Prisma. I think we can just copy this one here. We can just import Prisma client for Prisma client, and we can just export the Prisma variable when we invoke the Prisma client right here. But there's some issue when we working in development with Prisma. So as you can see here, I already opened that. The problem is a lot of users have some across with the warning while working with Next.js in development. This is the warning. The warning say there's already 10 instances of Prisma client actively running. So to fix this issue, we need to just use this here. All right, the code right here. So we need to just copy that and paste that right here. And again, I'm going to put all this link into the description, so just don't worry about that. So here we export the Prisma, right? But I don't like to use Prisma name, so I'm going to use DB name, I think. So I'm going to say export cons DB set equals to Prisma. All right, great. So what this code does is basically when we're not on the production and the Prisma client have already run, it's not going to be initialize the Prisma client again and again every time we restart the server. So now let's create the route. I'm going to create API folder, and inside the API folder, I'm going to create not out, but I'm going to say user. And inside the user folder, I'm going to create the route.ts. So let's close this terminal, and I'm going to create function, but I'm going to export the function. The function should be async function. So let's say function, and the name it should be depend on what you want. So in this case, I'm going to say get function, which is we can get the route here, which is we can access the localhost 3000/API/user, so we can see the response in here. All right, so here I'm going to return. Yeah, we need to return, and I'm going to use next response. And here, so let's say JSON, and in here I'm going to say, let's say success true. So when I save that and I'm going to refresh this browser, we should be able to see this success true. That's mean it's work. But again, if we register, we're not going to make a GET request, right? We need to make a POST request. So let's change that to POST. And in here, what we need to do is I'm going to use try and catch. So let's say try. And here I'm going to say catch. I grab the error. So first, I'm going to get the request body. I'm going to create variable called body. Let's say body set that equals to request. The request here is going to be come from the props, so we are going to get that from here. Type of this request should be request, like so. And we can get the body by say request.json, just like that. And down here, if I send the return next response.json into this body, let's put the body here, like so. And if I save and let's go to the Postman, I'm going to use Postman to make a post request. I send this email, username and password. When I click send, and as you can see, we have empty string. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's because we need to wait for the request.json here. So I'm going to say wait, and let's try that again, send, and as you can see, I have email, username and password. Great. So here I'm going to get the email, username, and also the password from the body, like so. So the first thing what we need to do is we need to check if the email already exists. So here I'm going to create variable called existing user by email, like so. Set that equals to, I'm going to wait for db. We need to use the db variable come from the db.ts, and in here I'm going to say db.user, because remember we have a model called user here. All right, so in this user we can say user.findUnique, and this find unique I'm going to put where the email is equal to email come from this request. So down here, if there is a existing user by email, it means if there's already user have their email, of course we need to return next response. So you can say next response, and this response here, it should be JSON, And also I'm going to say user null. That means we cannot create another user with same email because the email it should be unique. And in here I'm going to send a message, and the message it should be, I'm going to say user with this email already exists, just like that. And the status response I'm going to send, let's say status, I'm going to say 409. Great. So let's do another check in here. So next I'm going to check if the username is already accessed. So I'm going to copy this and paste that right here. This is an email. Now I'm going to say username. So existing user by username. Let's change that to username. And we find the unique where username equals to username come from this body here. Great. So if the username already exists, what we need to do is let's return user null, and the message it should be user with this, I think let's say, yeah, we can say user with this username already exists. So next we need to store the data into the database. So we can say const new user, set that equals to await.user.create, and inside in here I'm going to say data. This is how you can store data into the database with Prisma. You should put the data right here. So this data is basically username and also email and also the password. But again, I'm not going to put the password as a plain password here. It's not going to be secure. It's better to use a package something like bcrypt to encrypt the password. So let's go back to the Google Chrome and I'm going to looking for bcrypt. So now let's just copy this command here, npm install bcrypt, and open the terminal. And in here I'm going to say npm install bcrypt. Great, it's done. So now we can say npm run dev again. Let's just close this terminal. And in here, what I'm going to do is let's create a variable called has password, like so. Set that equals to, we need to wait for the has, as it should be come from the, let's do import has. It's going to be from bcrypt, just like that. So as you can see, we have some warning here, cannot find declaration file for module. I think we need to install also the type of the bcrypt. So let's copy that and we need to just paste that right here and hit enter. All right, it's done. Great. So let's do npm run dev again. Let's say run dev, close the terminal, and now we can say has. And in here, I'm going to put the password. And here, I'm going to send the salt to just say 10 for the default value. Great. So instead of putting password in here, I'm going to put the hash password, which is make our user secure. Great. So now we have already create user into the database, and we need to make a response, right? So now when user register, of course, we need a back response, right? So in here, I'm going to change that to, and I'm going to put the user into, let's say, new user. And also, I'm going to send the message, and the message is going to be user, let's say, created successfully, just like that. And also for the status response, I'm going to send, let's say, status, I'm going to send 201, which is okay, right? Great. So now let's save and let's go back to the Postman, and I'm going to click send again. And hopefully we get the response. Beautiful. As you can see, guys, we have the ID, which is 1, because on the schema.prisma, we set that to auto increment. That means it will be generate 1, 2, 3, etc. So we get the ID, we get the email, we get the username and the password. And as you can see, the password is encrypted. Great. And when we look into the Supabase, and when I refresh, as you can see, I have ID. I'm going to make it bigger so you can see. We have ID, we have email, username, password, create add, and update add. Great. But as you can see in the response here, we send back the password. It's not secure, so I think we don't need to send back the password. So let's go back to root, and in here I'm going to create let's do cons. I grab the password and I grab the rest like so from this new user. And here we have same name. Of course, we need to change the name. I'm going to say new user password, just like that. And I'm going to put the rest to this user here, just like that. So now let's do that again with same email. Of course, we are going to get the error. So let's send. And as you can see, we get 409 conflict, and it's a user with this email already accessed. So I'm going to change that to something like John, maybe. So let's say john@mail.com. And we know the username is same. So let's try. It should be get a warning as well. As you can see, user with this username already accessed. Great. So now let's change that to John123. And I'm going to send, and hopefully we get ID2, username, email, and we don't get the password response, which is great. Congratulations, guys. We already create this beautiful create user. And oh, the last thing that we don't send is basically when something wrong, we need to, of course, make a response back here. So let's put the next response, and what we need to do, I'm not going to send the user here, but let's just send message. And here I'm gonna say something went wrong, just like that. And the status, I'm gonna say 500. All right, great, everything look awesome. And in here we can use NextAuth to validate this email, username, and password. Let me showing you. I'm going to go back to component form and sign up form. I'm going to copy this form schema. I'm going to copy that, go back to this road, and in here I'm going to make a comment. Let's say define a schema for input validation, like so. I'm going to paste that right here, and here I'm going to change that to user schema. And now we need to import the NextAuth. So let's say import everything. I'm going to change the name to Z from NextAuth. It's going to be NextAuth, like so. And here we don't need this refine function. Let's just remove that. And we don't need this confirm password as well. Great. So how do we put this user schema to this body request? So it's simple. We can say user schema dot parse, and we need to put the body inside in here, just like that. It should be parse. Great. So we have really great post requests for user registration. So I'm going to close this, and now let's integrate that with this sign up form. So when user click this on submit, it should be make a post request in this road. All right, so let's go back here and let's just remove this console for now. So first we need to change this on submit function to async function, like so. And in here, I'm going to create variable called response set equals to, I'm going to await when I fetch the, let's say /API/user. And in here, let's put an object and the method. I'm going to specify that to post request. Let's say post. And down here, I'm going to say header. The headers should be, let's say content type content type into application/JSON, just like that. And down here, we need to send the body. And this body here, it should be inside the JSON.stringify, just like so. And inside this JSON.stringify, I'm going to send the username. The username, it should be come from values.username. And I'm going to send the email. The email should be come from the values.email. And also we need to send the password. So the password, it should be come from values.password, just like that. So down here we need to check. So here we need to check if the response is okay. If this is true, I'm going to say, so first we need to import the router. So I'm going to say const router set equals to use router. It's going to become from next/navigation, I believe. So it's going to be next/navigation. And we are going to use that right here. So we can say router dot post. After user successfully registered, we need to redirect user into the sign in page. So you can say sign should be /sign in, just like that. If something wrong happened, I just want to say console.error and just put the something like registration, let's say registration failed like so. Great. So now let's try. I'm gonna go back to my sign up. Let's go back to localhost 3000, and then I'm going to open the sign up here. Let's open the network so you can see the response like so. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you can see. And for the username, I'm gonna say let's say Janie, and for the email jane@mail.com. For the password 123.123.123.123. If I click sign up, as you can see, password must have then a character. So I'm going to say 123 again, 123 again. So now if I click sign up, oh, it is going to be success. And we don't get any response back here. Let's go to all. I'm not sure with the network request, but let's go back to the Supabase. And as you can see, we should have one user here called Jane. Great, it's working. I'm trying to register a couple user and it's showing the network request down here. So I'm going to showing you. So let's do, maybe I'm going to say, let's say, I don't want to say John, but let's say user 2 and the email, let's say user2@mail.com. And the password, I'm going to say 123.123.123.123. So when I click sign up, as you can see here, it's make a post request in the localhost 3000 API/user. And we have the response back here, ID, email, username, etc. Great. Now our register form is working perfectly fine. And now let's working with this sign in form. To working with the sign in form, of course, we need to use NextAuth to do that. So here, let's go to nextauth.js.org and click get started. And the first thing is we need to install the package. So let's copy the package and go back to the VS Code. And in here, what we need to do, let's open the terminal and let's just paste the npm install NextAuth. Alright, it's done. Now let's go back to the Next.js documentation and let's see what we need to do next. So basically, we're using the app router. So we need to use this guide here. Let's click that and see. We need to create the file route.ts inside the API/out/this NextAuth here. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy that and let's go back to the API folder. Here, I'm going to create file and I'm going to put the out/. this array and slash route.ts. So I'm gonna hit enter, and as you can see, it should be created the out folder, Next-Auth folder, and route.ts file. So inside in here, I'm going to basically create handler. So let's do that here. Let's say const handler set that equals to, we need to say Next-Auth here. So let's do Next-Auth, and we need to just copy this Next-Auth like so. And in here, down here, it should be object. And down here, we need to export the handler as a GET request and as a POST request. Let's just copy that and paste that right here. Great. So now let's go back to the documentation here, and basically you need to put this out option inside this Next-Auth here. So I like to put all this object here to another file. So I think it's a better way to put that into the lib folder here. So I'm going to create a file called auth.ts for authentication, and in here I'm going to export variable called auth options set equals to object like so, and I'm going to use that auth option inside this Next-Auth. So let's put the auth option like so. But as you can see, we have some warning here, TypeScript warning. So we need to go back to the auth.ts, and in here we need to say Next-Auth option. So now the error should be gone, I believe. Yep, great. So here, what the provider we need to use is the credential. So let's go to these providers, and as you can see, there's a lot of providers available in Next-Auth. You can use Google, I believe here. As you can see, we have GitHub, Google, GitLab. There's a lot, Facebook, email, Discord, but we are going to use credential, which is really hard to implement basically. So where's the credential? Right here. Let's click the credential, and as you can see here, this is what we are going to use basically. So we can just copy all of this provider array here. Let's copy that and paste that to this object here, just like that. So I'm gonna remove all this comment here. You can read that if you want, but I just want to remove that to make it simple like so. And of course the credential provider, it should become from this Next-Auth / provider / credential. So let's paste that right here. Great. So now let's save that, and as you can see here inside the credential provider, we have the name, the credential. This is basically the input field. We have username and password. This is the authorization function happen. So now let's go back to the browser, and I'm gonna go through the API /auth /sign in. Yeah, I think we don't yet run the server, so we can say npm run dev again, and let's try to refresh, and hopefully we see some input field. As you can see, this is the input field by default. We have username and email. You can change this whatever you want. For example, I'm gonna say email, the type is email, and the placeholder I'm gonna say john@mail.com. So when I save and reload, as you can see, it's updated right here. I'm gonna change my system to light mode so you can see clearly. Here we go. Instead of using this default sign in form, we are gonna use our custom form. So let's go back here. To do that, it's really simple. So here, down here inside the auth option, I'm gonna say pages, and these pages here basically have a couple options. So for the sign in, I'm going to use /sign in page, just like that. You can also change the error page, the sign out page. It depends on what you want. But for now, let's just put the sign in. And let's go back now, and I'm going to refresh. And as you can see, we're using the custom sign in right now. Because we're using Prisma, we need to change the adapter. So let's go back to the browser, and we need to install this package here. So I'm going to copy that, open the terminal, and in here, I'm going to say npm install Next-Auth / Prisma adapter. Alright, it's done. So let's say npm run dev again. Let's close this terminal. And in here, we need to specify the adapter. The adapter should have a value Prisma adapter. We don't get the auto import. So let's import manually up here. So I'm going to import the Prisma adapter. It's going to come from the add Next-Auth Prisma adapter. So now let's put the DB here. DB is going to come from the /DB. Great. So now let's put the session strategy, and the strategy I'm going to use JWT. So let's say JWT like so. And this is by default is JWT, so you don't have to write this basically. But anyway, just put that like so. So now let's working with the Authorize function. I'm going to remove the request and all this command here. You can read that if you want, but for now we need to just remove that like so. Great. So in here I want to check if the credential.email it is called username because we said this is username, so we need to change that to email. If the credential.email is empty or credential.password is empty, what we need to do is let's returning null. So let's say return null like so. And let's just I think we need to just remove all of this, and in here we need to check the user into the database. So I'm going to say existing user like so, set equals to await, and I'm going to say db.user.find unique, and here we're going to use where the email is equal to credential.email like so. So down here we need to check if there is no existing user. What we need to do is let's returning null again like so. And down here we need to also check the password. If the password not match, we need to returning null. So in here I'm going to create variable called, let's say, password match like so, set that equals to await. Remember, we encrypt the password using bcrypt, right? So in here we need to use compare come from bcrypt, and we are going to put the credential dot password like so, and here I'm going to put the existing user dot password just like that. And now here we get the password value. So first I'm going to check the password. If the password is not access like so, I'm going to returning null just like that. And down here, after we're doing all this checking right here, we need to return the object, and I'm going to say ID. It should be existing user.id, and also I'm going to returning username. It's going to be existing user.username, and also I'm going to returning email. The email is going to come from existing user.email just like that. Great. We get this warning here. That's because this ID is returning numbers. We need to change that to string. You can say plus string here to change that to string. As you can see, it's gone right now. Or you can just wrap this with backtick. So let's cut that out. Use backtick like so, and put the existing user.id inside a backtick. So now it's gonna be not get any warning. So now let's go to sign in form. I'm going to close another file here. So you just have the sign in form open. Alright, so inside on submit here, I'm going to change the function to async function. And in here, I'm going to create a variable called let's do sign in data. Set that equals to, I'm going to wait for sign in. The sign in here is basically a function come from NextAuth. So let's import that manually. So let's do import sign in. It's gonna be come from NextAuth/React, like so. And inside this sign in here, I'm going to specify the credential, the provider, which is credential. I'm going to use credential like so. If you're using Google, you can just say Google right here like so. And for our case, it should be credential. And in here, let's put our data. So let's say email. The email, it should be come from values.email. And also the password, it should be come from values.password. Just like that. And down here, I just want to console log the sign in data. Like so. And the first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the value that we already register inside the Supabase. As you can see, we have 5 user here. I'm going to remove all of that and I'm going to delete the data. So let's delete that. So now we don't have any user. So let's try to register first. So I'm going to go back to this application. Let's go to sign up. So now let's try to sign up with username chan123. The email I'm going to say chan@chan.com. Like so. The password I'm going to say 123 and also down here as well. So now I'm going to click sign up. It should be redirect me to the sign in page. That means we successfully sign up. We should see this Chan right here. Alright, great. And also the password is encrypted. Nice. So now let's try to log in. I'm going to do Chan. The first thing is I'm going to try to log in with wrong email. Let's do random email here and also random password. If I sign in, as you can see here, I get a credential sign in error. Alright, but I'm not sure why the status is 200 and okay right here. I think this is a bug from Next.js, or I'm not sure what happened. But anyway, we're going to use this error to showing error message. So let's try to go back here and I'm going to check here if the sign in data.error have a value right here. I'm going to just console log the error for now. Let's just console log that. I think we should access that inside the sign in data.error like so. Great. So if everything look great, I mean we successfully sign in, I'm going to say router.post here. But of course we need to import the use router. So let's go to up here. I'm gonna say const router set equals to use router. It should become from next/navigation. And here we can use the router.push. I'm going to push that into the /admin page. We don't have this admin page for now. Let's create that. Inside the app folder, I'm going to create something like this. I'm going to say this is going to be dashboard. And inside this dashboard here, I'm going to create let's say folder called admin. And inside the admin here, I'm going to create a file called, it's going to be page.tsx, like so. So in here, I'm going to say rice, and I'm going to say welcome to admin, just like that. So now let's go back here. I'm going to try to log in with, again, with just random email and random password. I'm going to click sign in and we should see error. As you can see here, credential sign in. But next thing is we are going to use toast to showing the error down here. But for now, just leave it like so. So now let's giving correct value here. I'm going to say chan@chan.com and also the password, it should be 123 123 123. If I click sign in, it should be redirect me to the admin page, and now as you can see, welcome to admin. So now let's go back to home, and in this home page right here, I'm going to create another button, and this button, it will be redirect me to the admin page. So let's go to the page here in home, and inside in here, so basically I'm going to create a div like so, and down here I'm going to put link. So let's do link should become from next link, and this is gonna be like open my admin like so, and the ref, wait, what happened? And the ref, it should be go to /admin, just like that. And I'm going to add just say class name here, and I'm gonna do button variants just like that. Let's take a look. As you can see, we have open my admin here. If I click, we open the welcome to admin. So now we need to access the session. So let's go to inspect here and go to the application. And as you can see inside the cookies here, we have this session. All right. So how do we access the session? So basically, there's a 3-way to access the session. So first, I'm going to showing you how to access that inside a server component. So let's go to admin, and in here I can do cons. I can say session set equals to await. This is going to be async component. I'm gonna say await get server session, and in here I'm going to put the out option come from the lib out file here, this one. All right, so now save, and if I get the error on the console, and when I try to see what I'm doing wrong, so basically I'm not put the secret. So if using JWT, we need to put the secret. The secret is basically just a string, and I put that into the environment variable, and this is the NextAuth secret. So I'm gonna say subscribe please, and this is basically just random text, guys. You can do whatever you want, and we can use that in the secret right here. If you get an error, well, what you need to do is just clear the cookie here and try to log in with your secret here. So I'm gonna say npm run dev again, and it should be working now. I'm going to reload. So now let's try to log in. I'm gonna say chan@chan.com, and the password 123 123 123. Sign in, and as you can see, we successfully signed in here. And also on the, I think, oh, we're not console log the session, right? So let's console log this session. I'm gonna say console log session like so, and as you can see here, we have user object, and inside the user object we have name, email, and image. This is the session by default. We have name and also email and also image, but we can always put anything we want in here basically. So now we are going to put the username in here, so we can put the username in here. All right, so let's go back to out.ts right here, and let's scroll down. So basically, I'm going to close this terminal to make it more space. So now let's create a callback in here, and it's going to same level with the provider. In here, I'm going to put callbacks, and inside the callbacks here, we are going to put the async JWT. Let's just go to the documentation. You can see, let's go through the NextAuth, and I'm going to looking for callbacks. And as you can see up here inside the callbacks, we have sign in, redirect, session, and also JWT. I'm going to copy the JWT here. Let's copy that and paste that right here. And also I'm going to put comma, and let's do also the session. Let's copy that and paste that right here. So let's go to Excalibur. I'm going to just try to explain what happened in here basically. So as you can see here, we have the authorize function. All right, this authorize function here will send value into the JWT. So let's put the JWT here like so, and it should be send all the value inside the authorize and send that to the JWT, and then JWT will send the value into the session. So in here we can put session like so. All right, so this is basically what happened. So now let's try to go back here, and as you can see in authorize we return ID, username, and email. But on the session, remember when I console log that, we don't get username because in here, the session just have name, email, and also image. This is a value by default. So in here, the first thing is we need to get the value, the username value to the JWT. So first, I'm going to just remove this another props here. We don't need that. So in here, I'm going to check if the user have a value. I'm going to return all the default token like so. And I'm going to add the username set equals to user.username. Just like that. And as you can see, we have some warning. We are going to fix that later. So now the token here will have the username and we can access that into the session right here. So in here, I'm going to say return object. I'm going to return all the session. And then here, I'm going to put user. Remember, the structure of the session is user. And then inside the user, we have the session.user. This is the default value. And then in here, I'm going to put the username. And for now, we can get that from the token. So we can say token.username. Just like that. If you want to play around with this JWT and session, you just can console log here. If you want, just console log the token to see what the value inside the user in here. Just console log that down here as well if you want to try to understand how this is work. So we have some warning here. That's because we need to add types basically. So on the source, this source here, I'm going to create folder called types. Inside this types folder, I'm going to create file called next-auth.d.ts like so. And in here, I'm going to import. So basically, we can just go back to the documentation and see the, let's go to TypeScript, I think. Where's the TypeScript? This one. Let's click that and this should be available in here for the type, I believe. This one. So we can just copy this like so and paste that right here. So let's remove this comment here. I'm going to add interface user, and this user here have a username and it's going to be string. And also this session here have I'm going to remove this, and user here have a type user, and I'm going to put username. It's going to be string like so. And let's put the token, and this token have a username. It's going to be also string, just like that. So let's close this, and now as you can see, everything look clean. Let's remove this return down here. Great. So now let's try to see, and first I just want to remove the cookie here. Let's clear that out. And now let's try to log in again. So I'm going to do john@john.com and 123. Let's hit sign in, and let's see on the console what we have. So as you can see on the terminal, we have the name, which is undefined, email, and as you can see down here, we have username John123. Great. So now we can put the username right here. So we can just say session.username, just like that. Why we get this warning? Oh yeah, I think we need to access that inside a user and then dot username like so. Great. So now let's take a look. I'm going to go back to here. And as you can see, welcome to admin Chan 123. Great. So now we need to make a condition in here. So I'm going to say if session dot user, I'm going to say return, let's say heading to, and I'm going to say admin page. Let's do welcome to, let's say welcome back. And then I'm going to put the username here. And if user not authenticate, so I'm going to return, and let's just say heading to, I'm going to do, let's say please log in to see this admin page, just like so. And let's make it bigger. So I'm going to say class name text to XL, and also let's add the class name down here as well, just like that. So now let's save, and as you can see, so the next thing is I'm going to change the sign in button to sign out. So let's go to the Navbar. We can also get the session with get server session. So let's copy this and paste that right here. And of course, we need to import the get server session and also the out option. And again, because this is await, so we need to change this function to async, just like that. So now I'm going to cut this link here, and I'm going to check if we have session.user. I'm going to render the button sign out, and else I'm going to render this link here. I'm not sure what happened. So let's do div like so. Great. So in here we need to render a button. So let's do button like so, and this button have a text sign out, just like that. So as you can see, now it's sign out, and I'm going to add variant. So the variant, it should be destructive. That means it should be showing red color. Great. And also in here, I'm going to handle the on-click event. But when we're using event handler, which is on-click here, we are going to get error. But let's try to do that. So here I'm going to say sign out come from NextAuth/React, like so. And when I save, as you can see, we get the error. There's a couple solutions to use sign out in this component. The first thing is you need to change this component to use client. But if you use client, you don't have to access this get server session, because this is just work on the server. So we need to use session instead of get server session. But get server session is more fast than use session. So I think the better way is to put this button to another component. So now I'm going to create another component. Let's just close others like so. And I'm going to go to the components and create another file. So I'm going to call this user account nav.tsx, because you can add anything you want in here. For example, something like drop down, so user can see the admin, user can log out or something like that. So in here, I'm going to say rfce. And because we are going to handle this on click in here, we need to change this component to client component. So we can simply use client like so. And we need to just cut this button and put that to this component here, just like that. And of course, we need to import the button. We need to import the sign out, just like that. And now we need to use the user account nav in this Navbar. Great. Of course, we need to import that. Nice. So now this Navbar component is still server component, but this user account nav, it will be client component. So let's see, it's still working. When I click that, it should be, as you can see, please log in to see this admin page. Great. You can also add redirect object in this sign out. I'm showing you here. So you can say redirect to true like so. And then you can put callback URL, and in here you can say whatever you want. So here I'm going to put window dot location and dot origin, like so, and I'm gonna say slash sign in. Let's do sign in. So if user log out, it should be redirect user to the sign in page. So let's try to sign in first. I'm gonna say chan@chan.com 123 sign in. It's gonna be success. Of course, we need to refresh this to see the welcome back here. And when I click sign out, as you can see, it will redirect me to the sign in page. Great. So the next thing what we need to do is remember when we sign in, it should be reload the browser to see the sign out and the welcome to admin here. So let's go back to the sign in form, this one, and down here we need to also add the router dot reload. Not reload, I think it's going to be refresh. Yep, we need to run that like so. So let's try to sign in again. chan@chan.com 123 sign in, and great, it is work. So now let's go back here. When we click the open my admin, it should be work. When I sign out and go back to home, when I click the open my admin, it should be showing please log in to see this admin page. Nice. So now what I'm gonna do is when I sign in and something wrong happened, for example the user don't access, I just want to showing those component down here. So let's go to setcn. So I'm gonna go to setcn and let's go to setcn UI, and here I'm going to looking for those component. So let's search for those, and how to use that is pretty simple. We need to just install this. I'm going to copy that and let's install that down here. Paste that like so. So ready to install dependency. I'm going to say yes. It's going to be installed at those components. So let's go back here. How to use that? First thing is go to the layout.ts and we need to put the toaster down the main tag here. So let's go to the app and then let's go through the, where is my layout? This one here. And we need to put the toaster down here like that. And of course we need to import the toaster like so. It's going to become from the UI toaster like so. And again we need to say npm run dev. Let's go back, and how to use that is pretty simple. The first thing is we need to import the use toast. Let's go back and go to sign in form. We need to just put the use toast right here. And to use that is also pretty simple. We need to just copy this, copy that, and go to the sign in component, sign in form component. And to use that, we need to just copy this. Let's just copy this here. And I'm going to paste that to this error here. Just like that. So here, the title, I'm going to say error, and the description, let's just remove this and change that to, let's say, oops, let's say something went wrong. Just like that. So let's try. So let's try to log in with random email and random password. I'm going to click sign in. And as you can see down here, we have the error. Something went wrong, but I need to, the color is red. So here we can put variant. So let's do down here. I'm going to do variant. It should be destructive. Let's go back and try to sign in. And as you can see, now we get the error and red color, which is great. So again, we can use that into the sign up form as well. So here, if something wrong, we need to just put that like so, just like that. And also we need to import the toast like so. We can use that up here and just import the use toast. Great. So now let's try to sign up with another account. So I'm going to say we and the email we@mail.com, the password 123 and the re-enter password should be 123 and I'm gonna click sign up. Great, we have successfully signed up, and as you can see on the database we should see two user right now, this one. Great, so now let's try to log in. I believe it's going to be we@mail.com and the password it should be 123. Let's click sign up. Wait, something wrong. Mail.com. Yep, let's do that again. Sign in, and great, welcome back. That means we successfully log in, and as you can see the sign out button is red. That means we can click that to sign out. Great. So I think we're done to implement the sign up and sign in functionality with NextAuth. But the last thing I'm going to showing you is how we can access the session into the client. So here, this is the example. As you can see, to access the session into the client, we need to wrap our component with provider. I believe it's called session provider. So let's just close everything, and you can directly put the session provider into the layout here. But again, if you want to wrap your body here with session provider, you need to change the component here to client component. It's not the best practice, of course. So the best way to do that is you need to create another component called whatever you want. So I'm going to say provider.tsx, like so. And in here, I'm going to say rfce. And this div here, I'm going to change that to session, let's say session provider, come from the NextAuth React. And also this provider here, take a children. So let's grab the children like so. And we can put the children into this session provider like so. And of course we get some warning because this is have a type any. So we need to create interface called, I'm gonna say provider props, and it's gonna be have children, and this children it should be React node like so. And let's put the props in here. So I'm gonna say functional component, and also I'm gonna put the, let's say provider props, just like that. So now we can wrap our layout here with this provider. So let's go to layout, and inside this body here, I'm going to wrap with provider like so. And let's put all this content inside the provider, just like that. And of course, we need to import the provider, come from the component slash provider like so. Great. We get some warning in the console. That's because this provider should be client component. So we need to change that using use client here. So let's say use client like so, and it should be fine. So now I'm going to create another component called user. So let's go to components here, create file called user.tsx, and I'm going to say rfce like so. And in here, I'm going to grab the session using useSession. So first, I'm going to grab the data from useSession, and here I'm going to change the name this data into session like so. And I'm going to remove this div, and I'm going to change that using pre. And inside in here, I'm going to showing the JSON.stringify, and I'm going to put the session like so. So now I'm going to call this user into the admin. So let's go to dashboard page here, and let's go to this home, I think. And I'm going to, let's say heading to, I'm going to say client session, and I'm gonna put the user component in here, just like that. And also I'm going to put the server session, and I'm going to, let's just get the session with let's say cons session. It's going to be await get server session, and I'm going to put the out option like so, and this is going to be async function. Oh, the async, it should be in here like so. And now I'm going to put the session down here. So let's do json.stringify, wait, let's say stringify, and I'm gonna put the session like so. Great, so now let's go back to the browser and see what we have. So I'm gonna log in first. So let's go back without login, and you will see, oh yeah. Oh wait, what happened here? Use session is available to client, right? Great. So we need to change this to use client, of course. Use client. Great, it should be work. As you can see, client session null, server session also null. So now I'm going to sign in. Just let's say john@john.com and password 123123. I'm gonna sign in. It's success. I'm gonna go back here, and as you can see, when I refresh, the server session is immediately right here, and client session is take a time, as you can see, right? And if you cannot see it, I'm going to change the internet connection to fast 3G, and let's try to refresh. As you can see, there's nothing here, but server session is already have the data, and after a couple seconds it should be showing the session right here. All right, so that's mean server session is more fast than client session. That's why I using server session in this navbar and also on the admin area. So the next way to access the session is into route. So and the API here, I'm going to create, let's do route.ts, and in here I'm going to export variable call get, because we are going to make a get request in here. Set that equals to, should be async function, and I get the request. This request is basically have a type request like so, and down here I'm gonna say cons session set equals to, and we get syntax error I think here, so we can say arrow, and we can use await, and then here I'm gonna put get server session, so we can run the get server session into route. So here I'm gonna put the out option like so, and I'm gonna say return next response like so .json, and I'm gonna say authenticated, and it's gonna be session. If we have a value, of course it's gonna be true. If we don't have value, of course it's going to be false. So let's go to localhost 3000/API. My bad, it should be just /API. And if I hit enter, as you can see, authenticated is true. Great. So I think we learned a lot from this project, and hopefully guys, you also learned a lot from this project. For this video, we don't yet implement the sign in with Google, but next we are going to implement that. So thank you so much for watching everyone, and see you in the next one. But don't forget to subscribe. See ya.